I thought that I would see if I could read what I'd written on Facebook because I waste writing time there. For Mac, the Yosemite had for 12. For Mac, the Yosemite I had for 12 days was horrible. It ran the computer temperature up by 100%, so I reverted back to Mavericks. Yosemite as well crashed a good deal more of the time. Patriotism and nationalism turn out to be all you have compared to what you might get from complete corporatization. That's a big one. It goes along. It's World War I was blamed on nationalism, and that issue of nationalism and common interest among the working classes is a powerful disincentive to feel that there's any proper balance of common interest between the working classes and nationalism. I created the Insuro dollar, and some of this flows from the fact that the Insuro dollar turns out to be nationalistic, whereas something like the Bitcoin is corporatistic. And once you add in the TPP, you're looking at a corporatized world, even in a way. I mean, then you have state capitalist. I always called Transcendia the company, country, and work of art. So, like my friend from Holland said, the idea that ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. He said, well, that's kind of fucked up, which I hadn't thought of it that way. But the Insuro dollar creates a nationalistic loyalty. A sense of the Insuro dollar provides an inheritance to everybody because they've lived and they've been formally recognized as valuable citizens as they work at whatever work they were destined to do. Okay, here's something else I wrote. Cockatoos are needed to talk deer into crossing at school crossings, right? My friend played the video of the lady who called in and complained that the deer weren't crossing where the signs for them to cross were put. And then he showed a cockatoo that was singing into a cup and manipulating the sound. I watched the thing with Bill Maher talking about attacks on Christianity, Christians said to exist, sort of made up. Here's because there is less money in circulation, because workers are paid so badly and rent is high, the rich have lost 6% of their billions. I read that statistic bemoaning the state of the economy, and somebody else put up the thing about Bush and how terrible he had been to the economy. This is what I've wasted some. Okay, I wrote this. Now this was I forgot about this. This is in reaction to some written about bad service from McDonald's a guy got. And he was complaining and saying that the service he got didn't make them getting $15 an hour worth it. I wrote, all U.S. corporations ought to be forced to offer profit sharing, and employee-owned corporations could well be all left that does anything in the U.S. I guess I should have put vets. All vets left that does anything in the U.S. international companies, were spawned in the United States, which has such a strong economic wind that it can apply sanctions to other nations, as if it was the government of government. The failure of the UN is traced to backing for the Zionists and the Korean War. Those two events are really the significant breakage of anything above the organizations. The organizations of the UN provide international service of great degree, and they're the only reason to reinvent the UN or invent a body that tells the UN what to do, because it gets an army of its own. Armed forces. I mean, there are things that ought to trigger reactions. And I say a skew of the insurodollar would be if Palestinians insured Israelis and Israelis insured Palestinians. They could make the insurodollar bank company do that for one state. But if one insured the other, it's very fair looking to me and would be a disincentive for murders, killings of innocents. I finished off with Raytheon can park their money out of the country and do all their war works business there if they want. We of the U.S. could demand our defense supplies come from those being defended. The point being, if we're defending the status of these international companies with our armies, making it safe to buy and sell oil wherever we want to buy and sell oil for whatever price we and the Saudis agree is going to be the best price. I guess that's what Kerry was doing, wasn't it? When he ran over to see the Saudis. I mean, I don't understand this really. I feel like, you got sanctions against Iran. You got sanctions against the Russians, and the Russians have atomic bombs. So, I mean, it's not going to take much for them to decide to do, their own nuclear umbrella, regardless of what Iran keeps. And then the Republicans convinced them they better get their own nuclear weapons. Mersheimer out of Chicago, a political scientist in the tragedy of great power politics, says every nation just has to go ahead and get their own nuclear